Hey YouTube, Herbal Prepper here, and today I'm going to show you how to make a gill net, which is basically just a fishing net. This is useful information for now. If you want to go ahead and make it and put it in your bug out bag, you're more than welcome to do that. But I do suggest that you learn this because if you are out and about and you have a lot of water around you and you are unable to catch or trap anything, knowing how to fish is a great just good skills to have. And you can actually make let me grab this. You can actually make what I'm going to show you how to make today from bark from trees. And the willow tree is great for baskets. As you can see, it's really thin and flexible, and that's what I'm surrounded by today, is a bunch of willow trees. Now with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So what I've done is right here, you can zoom in real quick. You just find an area where you can take string and go across. Now it's really great if you want to use paracord. Paracord's a little thicker. This is your main line, and then you'll use your what you'll actually use to tie knots, and it'll be a bit longer. And the reason why it's going to be longer is because it's going to be tied into knots, and of course that tying the knots is going to take up some of the length of the cordage here. So the first thing you want to do is take some string, lay it across, however you want to do it, it's fine. And you want to pre-cut whatever length you want to do. So if you cut your cordage, make sure when you fold it in half, because you're going to fold it in half and you're going to knot it up. That right there is how long your net is going to be. And so keep that in mind when you're cutting all of your string off and how long and big you want your net to be. So this is for demonstrational purposes. This is what I've done. So here, I'll pass this off to my assistant here. You'll hold that for me. So basically what you're going to do, wherever you want to start or however large of a fish you're trying to catch, you want to make it shorter and smaller in for each time you put a new piece of cordage on there. Now if you're trying to catch a big fish, you would go wider. Now basically what this does is when you cast it out there and you lay it down, you weight it on the bottom. You can weight it on the bottom, and it's just going to be like a net the fish are going to swim into. When they swim into it, their gills are going to get lodged in and they're not going to be able to get out, and all you do is pull your net up and you have fish in it. So let's get started. So if you can zoom in right here. So basically what I've done is I've taken the string and I've folded it in half. Can you see that? Alright, so here's what we're going to do is you're going to take it then and you're going to figure out where you want to start on your main line here. And you want to wrap it over. Can you see this real good? Okay. You want to wrap it over and grab the two separate pieces. Then you want to pull it through just like this. And then knot it down. Okay? And that's your first knot right there. And it doesn't have to be a real tight line or anything like that. So next string, please. You want to then do the same thing all the way across. Now, if you want to catch a big fish, you would go wider. If you want to catch a small fish, you would go tighter in. Does that make sense? I sure hope it does. So I'm going to just do like a medium-sized fish. So I'm going to do right about here. Alright, now as you're doing this, you're going to go all the way across with this. Another line, please. And I'm going to get a couple of these lines in because I don't typically like to cut camera. And it's just too much in editing time. So just want to tighten it up. Like I said, if your main line is paracord, it's thick, and then you have this real skinny line, it's going to grab onto that thick cordage of paracord. Okay? And you just keep going all the way across here with this. Line it up, make sure it's about, this is about 1.5 inches. An inch is gauged mostly off of about from this knuckle to this knuckle, roughly. If you have long hands, your long fingers, it's going to be a little different, but that's about, using your body parts to gauge inches and foot and things like that. So we're going to keep going all the way across. See, if you notice here, as I'm doing this, this is wanting to unravel. You just want to give it a good tug. And that will happen until you start securing it down. Okay, thank you. And you want to just continue to go on across. So for time purposes on the video, I'm going to pretend like, I'm going to stop at this last one. I'm going to pretend like I've done all of this whole amount here. Okay? So I'm going to do this last one. And like I said, this basically, I'm just showing you the basics, and you can just continue going with this for as big or as small of a net as you wish. Okay? So now, the first step to this is you want to go to the very end here. And you want to take the first string on this outside, lay it to the side, you don't need it. Take the first string on the second one and bring these two together. Okay? Can you see that? See how I have the first one laid out on the side, and I have the first one of the second knot that I made brought in with this one. So basically you're So basically you're grabbing the second one of the first knot, and you're grabbing the first one of the second knot. And so here, again, depends on where you make your knot, will depend on how large of a diamond you are making for how large of a fish you're going to want to catch. So if I knot it here, that's not much room for a large fish. If I knot it down here, that gives it more room for a fish to swim in. So, and these are all moving. So I'm going to knot it down here in the same way. You just want to take it, fold it into itself. My hands are frozen. And pull it through. Same knot. There we go. Right there. So you might have to separate these out, really depending on, if this line is pulled tight, it won't do that. If I can get my assistant to come around here and pull this, she'll just keep it pulled tight for me. Thank you. Just hold it right there. All right, so right here, you want to keep your line pretty tight. Okay? Keep it pulled tight for me. And on the next one, you're going to do the same thing. So you're going to grab the second one of your second knot and go like this with the first one. Okay? And you're going to knot it right where you knotted the second one. Okay? Uh-oh. Now, working with vines or bark, you'll first have to, and okay, you want to make sure these are lined up. You don't want to have a knot down here and a knot up here. So when you knot it, make sure it's even. Hold tight, please. Alright. See how that's even with that one? Well, you're going to continue this pattern all the way down. You're going to grab this last one of this knot and grab the first one of this one. Give yourself some looping room. Pull it through. And then match it up where the other one is. Move these down a little bit. Okay. And pull it tight. Okay? And then you're going to continue to do this all the way across. What's our time looking like? Should be up in the corner.
8 minutes.
8 minutes, all right. I like to try to keep my videos under 10 minutes. I know sometimes that doesn't always work. Okay, so continue on across. And as you're watching your net form, you want to make sure you keep everything in line. Okay? Got 2 more to do, and then I'm going to show you how to seal it up on the ends. And if you happen to get one that's slightly lower than the other, that's okay. That one diamond's just going to... Uh-oh. How'd that happen? Hold that for me, please. Let go of the tree? Yeah, let go of the tree. It's not touching the tree anymore. Pull that out of the way for me. Alright, so back out of the way. Just hold it with your... There we go. So this last one, you're going to want to do the thing, okay? And as you're pulling it tight, make sure it's lined up, okay? All right, so here's what you're gonna do on this last step. You're gonna go back to the beginning. You're going to grab the inside one on the outside one, and you're going to tie this together. You see how that forms a triangle? So what you've done here is you have now sealed up the edge of your net. That way it's not just randomly flopping around, okay? There. As long as these stayed pretty tight. You gotta hold this one, yeah?
Especially on the hands.
Hold it tight. All right, so now you're gonna continue on the same identical pattern as you did the first time. You're gonna run here, grab it with the two hands, two strings, wrap it around, pull it through itself. Or you can tie it off any way that you see fit, but this is just the best way that I've found that it works for me. I learned primitive skills whenever I was younger. For my birthdays and for Christmases, I would always get, you know, a lot of like Swiss Army knives. Like the newest one that came out, I wanted it. And I would just go out in the woods and make my own bows and stuff. And so at this point, there's your net. Now, you can pull that a little, and there you go. As you keep going on through, you're gonna lose some length on your cordage here, like I was telling you in the beginning. This is gonna start getting shorter and shorter. As you can see, these are shorter than these are. And that's because it's pulling the knots in. So as we continue, we're just gonna continue on across. And you would just continue this whole pattern all the way down. And you know, if you're starving, you want to have something like this on hand. So this is why I like to go ahead when I'm just, you know, not doing anything and I want to do something for my preps. I go ahead and I start making stuff like this, and you know, that way I can save. This is very lightweight, guys. You can save this, put it in your bug out bag, and you don't have to worry about too much trouble with carrying. Now here's the end again. I'm going to tie it off just like I would any other way, any other side. There we go. And as you can see, it has formed a net. And like I said, if this top main piece was thicker, these would grab onto them. If you want to zoom in right here, please, you'll see that this is kind of loose, but if this were a thicker line, it would become more tight up against it. Now, you just continue this all the way down. If you want to get to the bottom and you want to make this like a drop net, where you would drop it in the water and the fish would swim into it, then you would run something across the bottom, wrap up some kind of, you can tie the ends of this to a limb or some kind of other netting that you might have, clothing with weighted down rocks or stones, and then drop it in the water. And then make sure you have something up here that's going to make it float. And I apologize for the tractors that are passing. But at that point, guys, you can then just take this and you can stick it onto a tree branch that V's out like this. And when it V's out like this, all you would have to do is tie the ends to the V net and connect it at the top. And then you have like a scoop to where you can actually get in there and scoop out a fish. So I hope this video is a blessing to you, and I'll be doing more videos like this because I just feel a sense of urgency for you guys and getting my videos out there. So until next time.